Yo, yo, yo. Happy Tuesday. Happy September the 6th. And if you're watching this on YouTube, happy whatever day it is. Alright, so I got back from a long Labor Day weekend. I went to Florida, had a good time at the beach, but boy, am I beat. I have never gone on a long vacation and come back feeling refreshed. It's like I need a week back at home before I feel like I'm relaxed and at peace and in comfort again. Not that I don't have a good time on vacations, but it feels more like a project than a way to recharge. You know what I mean? I guess I'm just a homebody. So as with last week, I think it was I streamed on Friday. Was it Friday? I'm gonna continue working on the swamps today. I do need to get back to trailer work, but especially after an exhausting vacation. I just need some time to do something that I know I'm good at and can go quickly. So I'm gonna keep working on the swamps, maybe, hopefully, until I finish them. So I did a couple more levels over the weekend when I could find a spare moment. It's so funny that I do that kind of work to relax. So we're on Swamp 09 right now, which means I think we tackled 6 and 7 and 8 off stream. Maybe you'll get a chance to see them when I do some playtesting once I'm done. So I've already started on this room. This is Swamp 09, T-Junction 2. So we already did T-Junction 1, which is the same thing but facing northwest north-south instead of east-west. And the T is on the right side on that one. And so I'm going to deliberately make these variants nothing like the other T-Junctions variants, because when you enter these T-Junction rooms in first person, they feel identical. And they look identical because, you know, without some sort of frame of reference for what direction you're facing, like the mini-map, you're always approaching them in first person, and you're just approaching them from one of these three entrances, and so they always feel quite similar. So while the pathing through the level is different, like from a top-down sort of technical perspective, when it comes to the actual gameplay experience, these T-Junction rooms are very, very much the same. So just like the rest of these, we're going to retain the original layout as one of the variants, but then we're going to make all of the other aspects of them perfectly unique, because that's how we do things here in Mock Design Land. So I'm just making these the map chunk pieces that we'll swap out. We've already recreated this missing chunk here. And we can see in here that, you know, this is the inside of the T, this is the outside of the T. And so we're going to go ahead and save this. This one I believe I've already named. Yes. Save as A, Swamp 09A, save. And then we can start making real variants. Because I'm a little bit spent, I'm expecting to be less gabby than usual. Maybe I'll listen to some more videos. I've got like a Zelda Backrooms video up that I may be listening to. But I'll be here working. I saw Unbreakable Ink in the Barony Community Creators live streams channel say that he's gonna think of a witty way to say hello in chat, and he just showed up with out of the way, Peck! Mr. Sneak is streaming. Also, mate, if you don't feel relaxed, you cannot hold a stream for a while. Nobody will pick on you for it. Just focus on resting, work, etc. Well, I appreciate that, Ink. But I need to get some work done, and I figured if I just maybe mute myself for the majority of it, I'll forget I'm streaming and we'll all have a good time. We'll see how it goes. But I appreciate that encouragement. If I feel a little like the stream is stressing me out, maybe then I'll call it. So, but thank you again for that encouragement. I do appreciate that you're advocating for my mental well-being here. Alright. So yeah, we're going to start on variant B for this, and why don't we make this one smaller because it's just for reference. No problem. Well, good. Something like that, and then the one we're actually working on will take up more space, which in this view doesn't matter, but when we're going in first person, it really does matter. So, alright, off we go. Let's make some freaking variants, okay? question, did you like the changes I did to the Citadel tiles? Yeah, I thought they were very on brand for the sort of Christmas theme. I think by removing the sort of brass and bronze colors and copper colors and making them more like blue, you kind of solidified that sort of icy, frosty, Christmassy vibe. And I think that's a logical course of action to take. So yeah, I thought it looked very good. So nice work with that. I definitely had a hard time remembering which things I did and which things were new to your version, which I guess you can take as a compliment if you like. I definitely just did not remember if I had done the candy striping on the pipes. You know, I know I did candy striping on some things, but I was pretty sure I didn't do it on everything. So I thought that was cool. So what I've done here is a simple variant where the center hall is still tall and long, but then it splits into two separate paths. And you can open it either from the inside with this lever that will open both, or you can open it from one side, which will open one of the paths. So nothing like super exciting or revolutionary, but will cause some path differences that monsters can't go through, but players can, that kind of thing. So I've got, that actually won't look right. I'm gonna go ahead and move this. I'm gonna move these pillars here because those logs won't look right. I'm not going to go deep dive into an explanation of why, but they won't look right on the other side of that. There's nothing more spooky than be a follower of an accursed with friendly fire on. Thanks for the introduction, Pope. How you doing today? What up, Grotesque Mannequin? Good to see you. Taking it kind of easy today on stream. I'm not doing too much commentary, but we're just working on more maps for the swamp. And I'm on the third one for this T-junction right now. And by the third one, I mean the second one that's unique compared to the original. So we got 2 more to go before we move on to the next. Okay, real quick, I'm taking a look at one of my variants for the vertical T-junction, and I have one of the rooms being isolated that you can only access from the outside. That's a fountain. And I like that idea, but I want to make sure that I don't reuse it in the exact same way. So I want to have like a different part that's cut off and not accessible. So this one is left, leads to the center room. So if we rotated it, this one would be the left room entering the center room, and the right room is cut off. So in this other case, we'll make it so the left room is cut off and the right one leads to the center room, and then we'll have an original layout. So let's try something like that. Okay, I think we've made the levels that we need for this T-junction. We have this one where the west room is not accessible except for outside the map, and otherwise it's just a corner on this side. It's a little different than the corner on the other one. So let's go ahead and move to Swamp 10. Okay, so this is just like a pool with a pillar in it. There's a lot of these kinds of levels in the swamps where it's just really open with some water in it. And I think that's fine, but it leaves the swamps, I would say, generally feeling a bit too open. Like, you're not really exploring. It's more just like you're strategizing tactically how to approach enemies and kill them easily. And I think that makes the swamps less compelling than the mines. I mean, it's good for ranged characters and spellcasters. All the water makes just even that simple navigation, you know, a reasonable challenge for like the automaton and the vampire, because they really can't tolerate the water very well. But at the same time, it's just like it makes the swamps feel very samey. Yeah, the swamps are easier than the mines, yeah. I mean, it's like people will die because they get caught off guard by a goblin with a fire staff, but like, because the level design ends up being like really long distance and easy to see bad guys from far, it's very rare that you actually have to face a fire staff goblin without you seeing him first, because the enemy's sight range is so much shorter than the players, and their attack range is shorter than the players. So I think I would like to mitigate that by, when I encounter a level like this one that's just like an open area of water, I'm going to definitely keep the original variant, but with the additional variants, I'm going to make the vast majority of them have a little bit more navigation to them, kind of like the mines has. So we'll start by, we'll save this, and then we're just gonna see about replacing everything between these four pillars. And like, let's say that the key distinguishing quality of this room is these four pillars on any side with the torches, so that can be consistent. And then the interior of what's in here, we'll just get rid of the water in the other variant. So let's, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 7 by 6. Let's do new. 7 by 6. Create. And it would have been more confusing for me to try to create this one with the original stuff intact. So we'll just remake it. Okay, so you can see here that after replacing the center of this pond map, what we're kind of left with that's going to be baked in is these 4 paths coming from either side. Now, when I originally repainted this, so Sheridan made the original water layout for this, but I came in and repainted, added more of these like grass edges and stuff. So when I came in and repainted it, I was left with these sort of 4 paths, and I can take advantage of that in the level design to like make, you know, blockades and stuff that kind of makes sense to be occupying the edges of those paths. And so I think that's going to be a good formula for making all of this one as a variants. And one of the other things that's noteworthy about this one is that you can approach it from any side, and the only blocking elements are in the corners. And so this will always be sort of like a navigation independent room when it's placed, so you won't require any sort of avenue of approach to get into this area. And so I'm going to try to remember that as I create these rooms. I mean, I could force a single avenue of approach, but doing so would make it so that the resultant room is much smaller by blocking off one edge of it or whatever. So we're going to try to take advantage of what it is rather than trying to make it into something that it isn't. I literally don't need to keep really any of what's in here, but I might mark some stuff just so that I'm starting with something rather than starting from scratch. So putting the dirt here, and then the grass edge. We have edge left here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Edge right here, and this isn't final, I'm just marking things. There's my right edge, there it is, like that. And then we have north south, and maybe we'll do one that's the same but open land instead of open water. North south, east west. Those are the cardinal directions in case you forgot. All my homies be forgetting the cardinal directions. Actually, I think this needs to be here and this needs to be here, and I'll do this here. Yeah, that looks correct. Yeah, because we got one spot. Yeah. And I'll do the same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be here. It's a cool song, dude. And then this one occupies the center 3. So now we can actually, like, if we just let the paths go to their logical conclusion, this is what they would look like. And so I could just continue these out. If I left it as is, this, actually let's get rid of this center thing. If I left this as is, this would actually kind of defeat my original statement, which was to reduce how much is open. Although I am tempted to permit that just because there's not that much, there's just not that much in the first place. Also, these, I just realized that these are never actually going to terminate in an elegant way. So I need to repaint these real quick. So I'm going to have these edge with grass, because otherwise they're just going to have a harsh edge. I don't really like this song. Let's see if we can navigate to this and delete it. Explore item folder. Here, and we're going to delete it here. Alright, let's do the next track. Alright, now we can delete it. No offense that track, but I hate it every time it comes on, so. This is how we optimize our stream beats. Okay, I'm gonna shut up for a bit, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close off these edges here so that we get cleaner grass edging, so that you don't notice like sharp cutoffs in the textures. I want to kind of avoid that visual artifact when I can. And since there's no way to make it so that these always spawn next to like other longer paths, they really do have to stand alone and speak for themselves. So, like this. There we go. So now we've updated our master. Okay. Taking a little bit of risk with this one because it's a little bit goofy to have an arrow trap that only shoots 3 tiles. Maybe I won't do that. The wise thing to do would be to close off all the areas that it can't shoot into. So that it makes sense that it can't shoot those other directions. So instead, I'm just gonna make it a decorative, quote-unquote, trap like this, and then I'll just put this campfire next to it. Let's put a rocky dirt here, and then we'll put like an item on the floor. Where you at, item? There you are. And a chair. Alright, so we got a room with a bit of a unique identity. It's slightly more obstructing than the original in that there's interior walls that you have to navigate through as opposed to just water to look over. So we've got 4 more path blockages. I guess we could add 1 more tree to the edge here. Just in the spirit of more visual blocking. And I like the light coming through these blockages so it still feels like, you know, an outdoor airy space rather than just dark, dark, dark. Unless it spawns as a dark level, of course. Do we want this to look like an arrow trap? I feel like it might be better as a swamp pillar. I actually like this a lot better, just making it feel like more of a forest. Let's roll with that. Okay. This one is, I've added some just random swamp cobblestone walls and pillars that end up creating sort of some different paths that will break up sort of the straight lines of sight without adding a lot of complexity to an otherwise open room. So it's something that should feel like a ruin, something that's at home in the wilderness. Which, you know, again, I'm not trying to change fundamentally how the swamps feel. I'm just trying to tweak how they play a little, so it's not so open all the time. I may end up actually also adjusting how much water is in the base map, because that's another contributing factor to why it feels so open. It's because like things like gravestones and chests and tables can't spawn in the water, and so it's just empty space that you can look over with nothing to it, and the monsters never path through that, so I may end up breaking that up too. I decided to turn this variant into like a little ruined swamp hut. Maybe I'll put a chest in the corner here, facing west. So there's something to find in here, you know. Let's make a pillar on this edge here and then attach a light to it. And then put like a vine on the other side. Who doesn't like a vine? So it's just a little L-shaped junction that makes the space a little bit more dungeony, I guess. Adds a little path and a little reward, if you find it. And then we'll attach a torch to the west side of this. There you go. Alright, so that is C. I thought we already did C. I'm gonna do an open. Okay, so this B. Okay, so this does need to be D. I'm glad I checked. I was about to save over our C. D. Save as B. Okay. And this should avoid. So if you look at this, you'll see that the corners are all. They don't have any block right next to the edges. So what I'm trying to say is that there's no blocking elements in any of the four corners, which means that every this outside part of the map will not create a blocking barrier between the inside of the map at any point, which is good. I mean, I think it's good. That's what I want. Because it's already lit up, I'm actually going to get rid of this light source. Because the inside of the house will be dark and the outside will be light, and I think that is a good thing. So let's go ahead and save that. D. Alright, we got one more to make. And let's figure out what it's going to be. Let's start from C. Maybe we can do something a little that matches the exterior with these white brick. So, and we'll do something maybe a little more geometric, less organic, to bring in that vibe. So, like, we could do a smaller pond in the middle, or even a pit. I mean, something like that could work. Let's see how that looks. Why don't we put some tile on here? Something like that. Decorative blocks on the top, like these other ones have. Wow, 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 wow. We could even put a fountain in the middle, like here, or maybe right here. How about there? That looks good. Something like that. A little shrine. I like it. And the grass terminates nicely into the hard edges of the tiles. Very simple. And why, you know, just for the lolly jollies, as we like to say, why don't we go ahead and make an F variant? It's the first time we've gone more than 5 variants, which I was doing a lot more on the mines. Like, I continue to be inspired with other additions. In this case, I can really change the feel of this by having it be a pit instead and getting rid of this. And I feel like there's something else we could add to this, but like making it like an arrow trap. We did the idea of an arrow trap before, but I nixed it because it didn't terminate elegantly, and I wanted it to. So we could do something like this. Get rid of these pillars. So if you enter the interior of this, then you're going to get shot in one of these 4 directions. One of the things that I guess, you know, most people aren't going to know about this trap, this arrow trap type, is that you know what? Why don't we extend this a little bit? Hold on a second. Is that we can do this. This is gonna be cool. Will it be cool? No. We need to be able to walk on one side of this. I was gonna move the make the pit one larger, but that would mean you can't get hit by the top side of this. Anyway, one of the things that people aren't going to know about these traps is that they only generate in walls, and so they're only usually a threat from a single direction. And one of the things that, by using level design, we can make unique to the swamps is have rooms where the traps are threatening in multiple directions. So that's kind of what's inspiring me on this one, is to make that kind of thing. Now, it's only threatening in a single tile, which isn't very, I don't know, it's not very special. It's a little special. I could change my objective here and, you know, put it in the corner or something so it's threatening over the course of like 6 tiles instead of 1. But I kind of like this sort of harmless looking path that if you choose to cross through it, or if it, yeah, I mean, that's really the only case it's going to happen. If you choose to cross through this, you're going to end up triggering the trap, which is, you know, a little moment, a little gameplay that occurs. So let's go ahead and do that. I don't know, spray. Okay, that came together quick. It was fun to do. Not a huge room. We got some variety. We got, what? A is the original pond. B is a little forest camp. C is this little ruin layout, adding more walls and breaking up sightlines. We got a little hut in this one. We got the fountain pond in this one, so smaller water, but still water themed. And then we got the pit here with the arrow trap in it. I'd say all around we had a lot of fun with this one. Okay, let's go to Swamp 11. And here we have another river section. Dead End River, this is called. We're going to start by getting rid of these water sprites. So it used to be the case that you would only have water in these tiles with the water sprite. So in theory, you could like put dirt under a water tile, or with a water tile on it, and like you'd swim in the dirt. But I'm pretty sure for the Cursed Edition, it could have been before the Cursed Edition, but I was pretty sure that for the Cursed Edition, Sheridan changed it so that if you're using the water texture, it's water, and under no other circumstances is it water. And the same is true of the lava tile. So you can swim in lava tiles, and they, you know, do lava damage to you. But if it's not a lava tile, then it does not apply. So you may be familiar with this Dead End River. There's a few things we can do to this one. Let's open this up and make it a little bigger because we're focusing on the base map for a second. So we have several elements going on here that we could think about replacing. The main one is that we have this bridge that leads to 2 doorways. And this is a rather complicated element, but what's cool about it is this sort of ruin wall ends up feeling like a room or something, and then when you open it up, there's a bridge, and you cross the bridge. And who knows what's going to be on the other side of this, but it's going to feel like a little journey. But the river is actually the common element here, where if you just enter here, then you'd be going down the river. And if you swim down to the end of the river, you get some gold. And you've also got this like 2x2 tree on the other side of all these walls. It's not even gonna feel like it has anything to do with this. So it's gonna feel like a nice organic part of the level with all these elements to it. And I have to come in Sheridan for that level design work. And so now we have to decide what we're gonna replace it with. So I could replace this section here on the end, so that what you discover on the other side of the river is different every time, and how what's in this corner could be different every time. I could replace the entire right half of this, or I could look at replacing like from here, let's say like here to here, so that like how it connects with the level is different and what's in the river is different, so I can make pits instead of water here. I just kind of have to decide what is going to what's going to make this level feel more unique every time you encounter it. That's kind of my objective. I could do something more central like this, so that there's always a gold secret, but how you get to that secret is always different. I mean, that would really dramatically change what this feels like every time you get to it. We're basically replacing the whole river and one side of the doorway. Honestly, this gives me the most creative freedom, and as a result, it's the most tempting of the things I've tried so far. I guess if you have a thought about that, let me know, but otherwise I think I'm gonna do that. I could also take it one tile further and change how you access this side, so this may not always be a wall. What's up, Garvey King? Good to see you. I mean, that's giving me the opportunity to change a whole lot about this, and that's really tempting for me. It means that this gold, there's always going to be this gold no matter what, but I can hide it as a secret in various ways. And it also means that this water is always going to be part of accessing the gold. So why don't we do that? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 11 by 8. recreate this river. And actually, we've got dirt on the other side. You sound a bit low. Yeah, my energy's kind of low just because I had a pretty long Labor Day weekend, and so my energy level's low. But I'm in good spirits, so you don't have to worry about me. Appreciate it though. It's good to hear, yeah. Yeah, at the beginning of the stream, I talked a bit about how, like, I can't remember the last time I went out on a vacation and came back feeling better than when I left. I'm just kind of a homebody by nature, and as a result, I can end up, you know, when I go out on vacations, I just don't feel relaxed when I get home. Like, I re-energize at home, and so if I'm gone for a long time, that means it's been a long time since I energized, you know? So it's the nature of the beast. It's part of being me. And my wife and I get along really well, but she's more of a go body than I am. And so I guess you could say we complement each other, because when I'm low energy, she's high energy, and when she's high energy, I'm low energy. So we kind of make up for each other's weaknesses in that regard, I suppose. It's hard to paint that as anything but a good thing. Like, I mean, I guess you could argue it means we have something less in common. But we're a team, you know, so it's good that we have different strengths. One of my favorite quotes that somebody told me that I was working with in the game industry was, if you and me do everything the same, then one of us is unnecessary. And I think that's an old quote that is attributed to some famous thinker. And I think it's a great quote. If we do everything the same, then one of us is unnecessary. It's pretty good. Okay. So one of the things I did here is I replaced all the underneath the wall portions with this blue-green brick. I think I'm going to do that in the original map as well. Because when players dig through, I like there to feel like there's a foundation under there. Rather than just like random dirt. Now, there's really no point to replacing that stuff because it's not getting replaced, but that's okay. I replaced the bridge with this one because these planks are a very refined style of wood that don't belong in the swamps, in my humble opinion. Okay, so a bit of a question, two questions, map editor related. How do you go above the ceiling? How do you make the sky move? Okay, so if you go to map attributes, you get to the map level qualities, things that apply to the whole map no matter what generates inside of it. And so let me save this real quick. So if we go to Swamp 00, actually maybe just Swamp, there we go. So this is the swamp level. This square, every swamp level that I didn't try yet. Oh, that you didn't try, yeah. This square is what every swamp level looks like. This level loads, and then every other level loads inside of it. And so whatever the attributes are of this map get applied to the level, and then all the rooms just sort of spawn in that context. So if I were to make this level, say, disable traps or disable monster spawns or whatever, then I'm pretty sure what that would mean is that, you know, no random boulders or whatever would appear here. I could disable digging in a generated level. But then map skybox right here. If this is 0, then no texture will take place. But if I put a number in here, then it'll reference the texture number that I put in. So in the tiles.txt file, there's a list of all of the wall textures, wall, ceiling, and floor textures in the game. And whichever one you define here other than 0 will create a skybox out of that one texture. So if you leave this at 0 and then instead put a texture name in map ceiling, then that will be used as a ceiling texture. So texture 83 that I have defined here in the swamps, that is the leaves texture that is the swamp ceiling. So it's not actually like a 4th layer of tiles up there. It's one texture that's getting repeated or replaced with a skybox depending on the setting. So so yeah, all of the levels except for the Hell, Hamlet, Start, and Sanctum levels, all of those have skyboxes. Everything else uses a texture. So hopefully that clarifies things. Thank you for asking. That's a good question. And I will be editing this to add more islands because there's just too much. In fact, I think I'm going to make sort of like a grid of walkable space so that if rooms don't spawn, there will always be a way to get through the map without swimming. Because right now the map gets way too broken up and the AI doesn't handle it well. It's not elegant, and so I'm not satisfied with the way the swamps play right now. Yeah, let me know if you have more questions about that. Dead End River. Oh, I can't even add more text to this. I'm gonna just call this Dead End River VA. Okay. File save as Swamp 11A. Save. And then this is Swamp 11. Good. Okay, so we have not recreated this all the way yet, so let's get back to it. Is there any way to edit the ceiling above the ceiling, or did you tell that one already? Yeah, I went... It was all one continuity of explanation where I described skyboxes and ceilings together. Yeah, feel free to jump back in the video. I probably won't be talking for a bit as I continue to recreate variant A here. No worries. Okay, folks, I actually feel really good about my choice to replace basically the whole horseshoe-shaped river section of this. It's really going to allow me to add a lot of variety to this. Because the top and left wall sections remain intact, as well as the bottom and right wall sections remain, and well, I should say the secret section remains intact, means really how you get from the bottom of this to this door, to this door, and like that's gonna be very different. Like the obstacles that are from one side and the other are gonna be very different from one to the next. I'll be able to make an indoor area out of this. No way for me to wind back a live stream, only a recording of the stream, so I'll just give up for now at least. Well, you can open up, if you look at my most recent videos on Twitch, it'll automatically have the current live stream as a video, and then you can roll back on that video. But what you said is still true. It's a recording of the stream, but you know, if you don't want to do it right now, that's your call, dude. No sweat. Okay, so the first variant, I've changed it a little bit by making it so that the only way to access the gold secret is to have a levitate, but I've kind of really changed dramatically how the whole river section feels by like having all inside of a canopy. I could probably put like a tree right here. Let's put a tree in here. Where you at, tree? Like right here, maybe? And I think I'm gonna go ahead and put a lever right here that opens both of these gates. And normally when this room spawns, there's no way to get from this side of it to the right side here. So this creates an additional path that this would not have otherwise generated. I guess in theory I could trap a monster right here because it's funny and cool to do that. So let's do that. Like I said, funny and cool. Is there anything else I should put in this little zone? I guess I can put a walking spot here in brick. Oh, I want this to be brick. Oh yeah, and you can, you know, to make it feel like an indoor space, this archway is connecting to the rock on the other side, so that you're kind of swimming through an indoor river to get to the inside of this room if you don't want to open the door, or if the door's locked or whatever. Let's get rid of the canopy above the... Let's make the canopy feel a little more organic. Something like that. So now it will feel more like this tree is just creating this canopy, I guess. I think that's fine. Maybe we'll hide like an item behind this tree. And where do we want a torch? Let's put a torch on the east wall here. Actually, let's put it on the top of this pillar. Torch here. All my... Okay, I have one pillar here. Let's make another couple pillars, like right here and right here. Then we'll put another torch on this pillar. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I kind of want to put a sink right here. Just because this is an indoor area with a ton of water, having a sink here feels right to me. You know, indoor, so to speak. Let's extend the tile to under that sink. Okay, cool. This is a fun little variant. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. My daughter wanted to ask if she could play some VR, and obviously I'm streaming, so now's not a good time. But maybe after I'm done working today. Excuse me. All right, reevaluating this, there's like a lot we can do with this that's different because of the chunk I decided to take out. I could actually make this two completely different buildings. I can make the middle here a forest. There's like a whole lot I could do. Because I basically got rid of the concept of this river from this map entirely, it's left me with a lot of options, so that's really exciting. So let's just exploit that. Let's explore some of the more dramatic versions of this idea. dramatically different, I mean. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do here is put the lever to open the secret area inside of the larger of these two rooms. I just think it's really fun to have made this 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 area feel just completely different. Okay, so instead of a river, we have like this walkway, and we have this door that's not open. It still has water you gotta swim across to get to the secret secret gold. And then you come around and there's an entrance here, but there's also, if you come around from the external side, let's just put a normal door in here. Because this is on the east wall, it will correctly burrow a hole there. That's something you have to be careful of when I'm making these submaps, is that if things aren't aligned properly, the doors won't make the correct spot for themselves. This door will appear right here, so you'll be able to see it from the other side of this massive tree, which is good. Now I gotta decide if there's something I want to do with this path. I mean, the path is kind of nothing right now. I mean, I could make it like a foresty path. Let's try that idea out. So like something like this. And we'll put trunks here and there. I always have a hard time finding the trunk. I'm not sure why. It's not right next to the canopy part, and my eyes are always drawn to that canopy part because there's so much contrast. Gosh, I feel so silly not being able to find the tree. Stinking rainbow dash taking up so much space. Leaf. There it is. Okay. Go ahead and make another one right here. Okay, that's the inside of the building. Let's actually make the inside of the building different. Let's give it dirt edging. It's all good, Ink. You don't have to tell me when you're leaving or coming back. I'm just gonna keep my workday going. You know, that's how I roll. So I'm actually pretty happy with how this has gone. Let me see. So I've really taken advantage of the fact that I've punched a giant hole out of the middle of this level to really make it feel like completely different when it spawns. And so I've changed the idea of this river with walls surrounding it into the idea of two completely separate buildings. And so now there's like an L-shaped building on top next to this big old tree. And there's a lever in there that will open the second building where you can access the secret gold. And this building is the place that kind of looks like it was formerly inhabited by humans, perhaps, but has, you know, since been taken over as a ruin in time. And so there's a chest in there, a table, which, you know, may or may not spawn an item, a sink, and the lever that will open that gate. I think I mentioned that already. And I'm excited to experiment with it. And then in between the two buildings, there's like a forest path, which will feel natural because coming from the east side with that massive tree next to it, there will be, you know, it'll be like a logical progression to move from the tree to this foresty path. So here's inside the building that's being overgrown by the wilds. And then the trees that are growing in here. The second building that you have no way to open unless you explore the first. And there we have it. So I think that actually concludes building number 2. Or, sorry, variant number 2. What did I miss? Aside from everything. Okay. Let's draw a little path through here using... snaky path, and if we look down here, we'll see that I think that will all make sense. Okay, so we're saving that as variant C, and now we got to come up with another idea. Maybe we'll take advantage of pits or something this time. By the way, I just peeked over and noticed there's Nonia. Thanks for coming to hang out. We're having a good time making levels, aren't we? This is the base level, and this is the variant. So, save. We're gonna open up variant B. I'm gonna call it map D. Start straight away by saving it as variant D, so we don't accidentally save over anything. Get rid of all the sprites. Try to think of a new idea. Now again, the consistent element here is that I need to have some way that this top door comes into this level, and a way where there's sort of a secret path to get to this extra gold. Those are sort of my obligations and limitations. But other than that, we have a blank slate, which I like. So the first variant, we made it feel like the river was sort of indoors and made a pit a new secret. And we gave access to this big tree on the east side on the second one and made it 2 separate buildings. I could have another kind of chasm idea. Let's experiment with that. So we could say, starting from this top corner here, that we have like a chasm that goes across the length of this thing and then terminates like right there. things I like about this idea is that it will put these walls on the edge of the cliff, which I think will look kind of cool and organic. Like, it makes sense that the wall would remain standing even while the rest of the things kind of don't. Although I think I should probably let this be... The dirt should lead into something that makes sense in the context of this. So. 10 out of 10 live stream, bro. This is crazy. I dig the music. Cool. What's up? Yulf. I'll just call you 4YH Yulf. Sounds good to me. Yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out. We're just doing some level design, bro. Something like that. Look at our master map here. Alright, the edge here needs to terminate elegantly. And then I think we'll probably have the water right here. The bottom two... Actually, this doesn't make any sense here. Because we already have a wall here. The bottom four have a wall. We don't need more tiles here to account for that. This is where the waterfall comes from. And 1, 2, 3. We're going to continue that wall like that. Something like this. So I kind of want to make it look like half of this building kind of broke off and then fell into the void. Let's see if we can pull off something like that. I think I know who this is. I think 4YH Yulf, I think I know who that is. I think I just figured it out. You wish there were more popular indie games? Yeah, man. Indie games... I really like indie games. I think that's, you know, indie developers are really carrying the art form of game development forward. And I don't resent AAA games, but I do think that they can fall into a lazy pattern sometimes. So. All right. Let's see how this feels. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of understand it from the AAA's perspective, because it's like, if they spend all their money, then their like giant company dies. So, whereas the indie's got like almost nothing to lose by comparison. Although when it comes to like a personal level, they have everything to lose, because they're not playing with stockholders' dollars; they're playing with their own lives. But yeah, that's kind of what artists do. They put it all on the line. Couldn't develop an indie game for your life? You know, the tools have gotten a lot better, but it's still hard. And because I'm not a programmer, I still depend on a team. I think the tools are good enough now that I could probably make some kind of game. But it, you know, it probably wouldn't be as ambitious as I would like if I did something like that. Let's put an arrow trap in here, man. We like arrow traps, don't we? Yeah, and this would have a limited shot range, so I think it's actually the ideal location for an arrow trap. Let's see how that feels. put a cracked brick on the top of the arrow trap. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and just put a scaffold. You know what? I don't like how that looks. I'm gonna put a decor brick up there instead. There we go. I think that's a lot better. And why don't we put some white brick underneath it? Why not? There you go. So we'll just go ahead and put a scaffold along this side that will lead in to this. But, you know, the risk is that you're going to run into the arrow trap and get shot. So there's a reason not to do that. And, of course, you still have to jump in water on the other side. So it's not like, it's still not free. Is that going to look right if the bridge goes straight into a waterfall? It might feel a little silly. We could do something like this. Yeah, let's roll with that. So just to be clear, that's going to connect right here. So we're going to have two tiles, like a 2x2 water pool. Let's go ahead and paint in our walkway down here where we're going to have an invisible... That's an invisible floor, but then we'll make it look visible with a bridge decor model. I feel like indie games are where the creativity in game development is. Yeah, dude, I couldn't agree more. It's hard, but you know, you do what you gotta do. Let's make another bridge here because we still gotta be able to get to that doorway up there somehow. Let's put another tree here so that we can have like a nice canopy situation. I'm always misled. There it is, the tree trunk. And let's throw some leaves around. Yeah, I think it's that risk thing, man. Like an indie, the only way for an indie to make money is if they stand out and attract a new audience. Whereas like AAAs make money by doing what they've always done to make money before. And so it's like the incentives are almost fundamentally, like they're diametrically opposite to one another. And I think, you know, the natural result of that is that you get completely different kinds of games. So that's kind of cool. Okay. I really like this chasm idea. I need to find I think we already did. Yes, this is variant D. I remember renaming it. So let's go ahead and save that. And I'm going to look up some of my other maps where I have these floor models or these bridge models because I don't remember. I haven't memorized them. So let's go to mine 26. B, C, D, E. Okay, so this is an east-west facing bridge, which is, that's good for right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's move these so we can see them. So this is point. We're just duplicating the content here. Negative 56. So now that is, oh, we got to do a T. All right, and then we're going to duplicate it and make it face west. And then we can make this harder on ourselves on purpose if we want to. I'm tempted to do that. So let's go like mine 3, B. Yep, I've memorized these. So we're going to do... This is going to be a an east wall mounted bridge. So it's going to look like we want it here. So let's call this 118, 2. Okay, we'll duplicate that, and then we'll duplicate that and flip it, 6. Okay, so now this bridge will have center mounted posts going down into the pit, whereas these ones are attached to the side. So we even have bridges that look different from one another, y'all. What a thrill. What a thrill. Now, for something that looks like this, I think we do need a torch, probably right here, so that we can see the cool, what is this, Swamp 11? Okay, so I think we need another torch on the west wall here on the third tile up. So let's put another west-facing torch here, just by the bridge, which will make the bridge look better. To that end, I think I want these bridges to look... I could just move this here. That would probably be for the best. Alright, so we got a bridge mounted, or a torch mounted next to this bridge. And we got... Alright, cool, cool. Alright, that one was fun. I enjoyed that. I don't think there's anything else I need in this. Oh, you know what I need? I need to make that trap function. Okay, so we're gonna load in our trap sprite. Boom, ding. And then we're gonna put wires leading to it from one second. I think I need it like this. Yes. Yeah, like this, and this. And then in theory, this, and this, and this, and this, and this. So you're gonna get shot from pretty far away when this trap spawns. Oops, wrong menu. We have pressure plates here, 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 and here, which might sound silly. But it's really just the sight distance of the trap that we're trying to replicate here. And luckily, because I set this up the way I did, it means that it won't look like this trap should shoot any further than it's shooting. It will shoot exactly where you expect it to shoot. And we have a good level. A good map chunk. IMHOLOL. Alright, so we gotta do one more idea here. Let's open up B again, because that one was pretty simple. Delete all of our sprites. You know what, let's, real quick, let's go back to D. We didn't put any treasure or anything in here. Let's go ahead and put an item right here. This will be behind this big tree. I could put something else in this top corner. I think the trap and the item are enough. Let's call that a day. All right. So we want to do a trap room of any kind with this. Actually, a trap room that leads to the gold might be a good idea to add some variety to what's going on here. Let's go ahead and throw grass in everywhere, just to make it simple. All right, so if I want like a boulder trap that leads to the gold room, that could create some fun drama. So like a timed lever that releases boulders and then you have to run from them into the water or something like that. Let's sort of sketch out what that might look like. So we're gonna have this east wall whole again. It hasn't always been whole, but it'll be whole this time. Like this. Oops, more like this. And then we'll take the blue floor bricks. Where are you at? Like this. To signify that that floor is there. And then we'll have water here. Maybe like this. And then, okay. And we can make this channel where you run from boulders. I'm trying to think of how this where the boulders are coming from, you know, that kind of thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's where the door is, so that's important to know. So in theory, our room is like this. Okay, I got an idea. So what we could do is we could put a lever here and a portcullis here, and we could make the, actually we don't want a normal lever. What we want is just trying to think of how the player's going to have to be able to escape this. What level is this again? So this is in the swamps. This is the host level, so this room will spawn, and then one of 5 different, it's just one of many rooms that can spawn inside the level. And within this room, the actual contents of the room get replaced by what I'm working on here. Yeah, it's RNG. That's all the levels are procedurally put together. And so I'm trying to make it so every time this level shows up, there's, you know, a 20% chance one of these other rooms will spawn inside of it, and make it so there's some more variety into how the game presents. So I think what I need to do, yeah, dude. I think maybe what I need to do is I might need to put like an escape path here, so that if you survive the trap, then you have a way out, because this timed lever here, let's open up a timed lever. Where you at? Boom. Okay. Boulders. We got a south rolling boulder here. If we put 2 boulder traps here, we attach the timed lever to both the door and the boulders. That means the door will only be open when the boulders are rolling. The boulders will roll into the water, and if you can outrun them, then you can get to the gold secret. And then I can put another trap here that when you cross this line, then these gates will open behind you, giving you a path out. Otherwise, the gates are not openable. So let's go ahead and build all that up so that it all makes sense. Let's get some doorways. Boom, boom, boom. I want you in the level. See how we clean that up. All right, and then the rest of this we can make sort of like a dungeon, like a little mini dungeon that leads into that chaos. So, okay, this is our death hallway. Let's put this here and this here. Let's make one of these cracked, just for visual variety. Boom. And boom. Okay. All right. So when you first see this, unless you have the opening spell, you won't have a way to get in here. Which is fine. Having the gate be on the outside here means that there's no way you'll access this point unless you've either cheesed your way open with the open spell, and then this whole thing is just a 0 challenge, which is just fine. That's you've earned that as somebody who has the open spell by this point. And why don't we give you a pillar, because pillars look cool. And so if you're in this room, you're either dying or you're escaping the boulders. And actually, you could run all the way to the end here and still get smashed by the boulder while you're in the water. So that's gonna be a rude awakening for some players. I feel like I should drop these out of maybe a carved stone dropper here, so you can see what's going on. I could also make the whole thing feel a little bit more claustrophobic. Do I want it to feel claustrophobic? I think I do. Let's have that look sort of like the finish line, and we'll put leaf ceiling on the inside. This is my jam. I mean, I'm kidding. This is a fine song, though. Okay, so boulders. As soon as you pull this lever, the gate will open, and you'll hear the boulders start dropping, and then we'll have what? Several rounds of that occur. 1, 2, 3 seconds. Let's do like 5 seconds. Let's just do 4 seconds delay between refire. We're gonna have infinite amount of refires. While it's powered. Do the boulders sink in contact with the water, or is it just until it collides with the wall? It'll sink in the water. Good question. Especially with a game, like a lo-fi game with this, like this, I understand why you might ask. Especially since when the game first launched, it actually did not sink, which is hilarious. Okay, so every, 4 seconds these refire. And so if I have this open for 12 seconds, then we'll get 3. Let's have it open for 13 seconds. So let's do 14 seconds. So the door will open, we'll get 3 boulders rolling, and then the gate will close and the boulders will stop. And we'll see how difficult that is when we play test this later. Okay, so that's fun. We've already made some serious progress on this one. And now I kind of got to decide what's in the rest of these rooms. This is E, right? Save as E. Map, attributes, variant E. Okay, so we've made the trap. That's the central conceit of this room, is this trap idea. I think I probably need to make a torch at the end here so you can see your destination. And it's probably important to have... I want a torch on these boulder walls so that you don't miss that there's stinking boulders coming from that direction. All right. Okay, so on 3, we have the entrance to the room. So in theory, we could have walls all the way from here to here, and then maybe with one opening like right here. So this is one big room that leads to the trap room. We could also make it so, we could make it so there's a fight in this room. It just means we'd have to lock it in like a goblin fight or something. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's where our door is. So I need the player to be able to come through here. And I'm just realizing that just due to the shape of this, I have some limitations. So I probably want something like this, and then I can have so the lever room could be an entirely different room where we can like sort of prep the player for the danger they're about to face. And this trap room, this little alcove lets the door have an out. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Oh, does the boulder respawn after contact with the water, or is it null after contact? So when the boulder falls out of the world, it gets deleted. But when the boulder respawns is based on this. So what I have right now is as long as this trap is powered, a new boulder will fall every 4 seconds, and that can happen an infinite amount of times. And I could make it a certain amount of boulders and then it never happens again. But because the whole point of this challenge is to outrun the boulders to the end here, and you can effectively attempt that as many times as you want. You know, you can sit there and watch it happen and the gate will close, and then you'll figure out, oh wait, if I don't... I can't get through this hallway unless I sort of face this challenge. Actually, with that, I just realized if I can put this lever on the inside here and have the lead into this room make a little more sense. Let's have this room be a dirt room. Dirt. Top right, boom, and then we're gonna have west. Go. All right. So this sort of odd-shaped room will make a little more sense because there's an alcove specifically for the lever, which the player, I think, would expect. All right, and we got one more room. So this leads directly into this door. Let's go ahead and put a torch right here so that you're greeted with a torch when you enter. We can just put a... We'll actually put a gate here. Is that what I wanted to do? I think what I wanted to do instead... I wanted to trap monsters in this room so that the only way to get in and out of here is with gates. And so if the gates are closed, then you can't get in or out, which means the monsters would stay in this room. Which might lead to some silly looking room shapes, but it means I can control the fight, which is important. If I make these regular doors, then the monsters will break them down and I'll lose control of the room. As much as I want the game to be procedural, if I want the idea of this trap to work and have a fight in here, then I need to express a little control. So, I could actually do this and leave. Normal lever here, a normal lever here. What's up, Ink? Cool. Well, I'm glad you're here, and yeah, we're just here to have a good time, dude. We're gonna have fun. That's what we're here to do. Or have fun and make video games. So, Ink, to catch you up a little bit, what I'm working on is I've made a boulder run trap scenario, but before the player gets to that, I think I'd like to have them have a fight in this room. I could make it with goblins or skeletons or ghouls. I haven't really decided what the fight is going to be yet. If I put... I mean, I could make a bunch of slimes. That's always fun. So you go in here, have a fight, and then there's a trap. So this would be kind of like one of those challenge rooms. Except for it wouldn't be one way, probably, like the challenge rooms are. Maybe will this look better? Something like that. Alright, let's take a look at what this looks like from first person. I'm gonna put some rocky dirt right here. That's too small of a space to have anything else really that makes any sense. We'll get some patchy grass over here. And we'll get some stone here to justify the lever. Boom, boom. So in theory, the player could do something dumb to get in here and lock themselves in, and then the only way out would be through the trap, which is fine. It means there's a way out, so I don't think I'm too torn up about that. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and fill in the walls. Put in the horizontal loggies. Some lost kobolds. That would be funny, but man, that's a little too hard for the swamps. Or even a lot too hard, depending on who you ask. Let's put some ceilings above these levers. Plank ceilings above this half of the room. Aren't they simply like goblins except with crossbows and magic? I mean, they have a lot more health and a lot higher stats. I mean, I could lower their stats artificially, but then I'd be creating like an inconsistency in what the player can expect from them. So I'd rather not. Why don't we replace this with a tree? I mean, that might look cool, right? Baseline of the song is groovy. I agree. All your ideas are seeming garbage. No, they're not, dude. I just gotta like. It's my duty to just think of the edge cases, you know. That's my whole stinking job. In some way. I don't really like how those stones look on the edge of that. This might look okay. Something with a little more finish to it on the edge here. So I'm not so sure about this. And I like the idea of this. Here, why don't we just... Is that any good? I don't know, dude. Not something we do. Let's just leave it like that. It's kind of ugly. What if we did this? No. Nope. I mean, I knew it was dumb when I did it. Massive brain genius. How about just gray tile? Too much to ask. I think that's as good as anything we've tried, probably better. let's roll with that for now. Okay, so now the last thing is that we gotta decide what monsters are we fighting in this area. Do we fight just a bunch of goblins that are in this room? I kind of like slimes because it makes sense that they'd be like in here and totally satisfied with themselves. We could put a sink up here just to justify where they all came from, and also sinks are cool. Let's do slimes, dude. I think just I love fighting big groups of slimes. They're such a dumb enemy. 5 slimes. Is that too many slimes? It might be too many slimes. Let's narrow it down to 3. Let's see how that goes. Okay, so let's tell the story of this room. Save as E. You bust in by pulling these gates. You might have arrived from this silly door that leads to nothing but a lever. I'm gonna finish what I'm talking about. Let's do 4. You'll immediately be assaulted by loads of slimes. Do we want it to be dark in here? Maybe we put another torch. Maybe we put a torch right here so it's dim because it's blocked from a lot of the room. GG says there's hold on a second. So you bust in the room, you have to fight some slimes. You discover a sink. You might cause more slimes to appear for yourself. Then as you explore, you know what? I do need a way to open this from the inside. What I should do is make it so these 2 levers control both gates. That way, no matter which direction you come from, you can get in and out of this room. And the only way that you can lock yourself in here is if you like deliberately activate a lever from the other side of the gate, and then you can still escape using the timed lever trap situation. So regardless of the direction you come from, you open the gate, both sides open up, and you're immediately beset by slimes on all sides. I'm putting this one here so that you can kind of see them more. You fight them off, and then you explore the room. I suppose I should put some things to find in this room. So like an item, maybe a piece of furniture. How about a table? Table right there. In a previous room, what is it? Swamp A7? What was it? 6, 8. Let me check out these variants real quick. I did another slime room. Yo, did I not finish this? Did I not finish 8? C, D. Dude, D is... D... I didn't finish 8. Dang it. Okay, I'll have to go back and finish 8. One of these has, like, a slime fight in it, too. Okay, slimes. So, I put skulls in these rooms. I think putting skulls in here would be fun. Let's do that. You know, like, these slimes have been eating people. So, we'll just copy 686 direction, and is 20 the right height? Okay. So we're gonna just throw a couple skulls around the room here. If they were eating people, they wouldn't leave skulls behind. Maybe. But if they did that, then there wouldn't be any cool things to look at. Right? Like, don't you want something cool to look at when you come in here? Some storytelling? I like a little environmental storytelling myself. Maybe they're still working on it. Maybe they're fresh corpses. Okay. So let's walk through this. Alright, you come from the broader south entrance, which is more likely because it's much larger. You spot this lever, you pop inside, kill a bunch of slimes, see some bones, and then you find, oh, it's not over yet. You pull this lever and you hear boulders rolling. Maybe you wait, maybe you don't. Eventually you decide to brave the challenge and run. Now, if you were paying attention, you might have noticed these gates lead to water, and your mini-map will probably tell you these are connected. Either way, you may be tempted to go into this room as you see the boulders going. You get to the end, you steal some gold, you come out, and this is already open because you opened it before. Alright. This is a cool room. It's done. Sounds like I gotta go to Swamp 08 because I didn't finish it. That's sad that I didn't finish this. Alright, you said... The reason I was asking about sky is because I wanted to turn the entire Citadel into an open location with barely any light shining from above. That's how the people near do it. Okay, cool. And 5 slides isn't too many. GG would say there needs to be more gooey slush to execute. I'm gonna go eat, bro. See ya. Alright, cheers. Yolf, it was good to hang with you for a bit. Really appreciate you showing up. Alright, if I missed your exit, sorry about that. Okay, so 08A, B, C. Little campsite, D. Alright, so I never did D and E for this one, apparently. So we have to do that. Let's real quick just look at our list of what we've done. Swamp 01A, 1, A, B, C, D, E. 3 goes all the way to E, 4 goes all the way to E, 5 goes to E, 6 goes to E, 7 I can't see because our scroll list is unfortunately rather limited in what it will show me. A. Okay, and sure enough, 8 is the only one where we skip D and E. Alright, so let's crack those out. We gotta do variant D. Now, if we take a look at what we have, we got a simple T intersection. We have a inaccessible room, except for one area that has a fountain, and then an otherwise connected room. And then we have this sort of campsite where you can go in and close the door behind you if you want to. If we look at 9A, we've got the simple T junction. We've got a simple gate where you go in and it opens all directions. We've got a forest camp. It's otherwise an open T-junction, except for there's a campfire and an item. And then we have a very simple item, gold, and a doorway. There's also some water there, not that there's any gameplay to that. And then we have another fountain with one direction accessible. So we can do something like a pit for this one. Because who doesn't love a pit? Try to do some abracadabra, alakazam, magic side tricks tomorrow. Understood. Understood. So let's load up B. Okay. I think we gotta simplify some of our other ones that are here. All the way around. Good to double check that. Okay. Man, I could have swore that I made some like arrow trap situations. It's all good, man. I'm glad you're inspired. I'm glad you're inspired. No hard feelings of any kind. Now, again, I really feel like I made some other ones here, and I don't know how I could have missed them. 9. I mean, I could have called them Swamp 8 instead of Swamp 08. That's always possible. Nope, I didn't make that mistake, so just quit without saving on accident. There's a million things that could have happened. Maps, swamp, 08. I'm not trying to pine over this too much. I'm a little worried that I just might have accidentally saved over something essential, you know, so let's go like 7D. All work I did offline. I think you guys didn't get a chance to see. You know what? Maybe not. I thought this is the one where maybe I had done that. Well, tell you what. Time's a wasting. Let's go ahead and just make the arrow traps that I talked about. So we'll get. I wanted to do. Pit on the right is what I wanted to do. And then you'd cross a bridge and you'd have to turn left or right, and either way you go, the arrow trap would trigger on you. And so you'd have to solve that problem by throwing something down or putting up your shield or whatever it is, you know. Okay, so let's go to 4 in. And I guess one more thing I can do is I can create a situation here where the player has to pull a lever. Like, I can just make it unlikely that monsters will come through here by having gate access only. Which is kind of unnecessary, but I'm going to give it a shot and see how much space I have to work with, because I don't have that much. So it would be... Actually, I've been using these things consistently, these posts, like this. If you access this from this side, no, there'd be no way. I need to push these over 1 to make this happen. Do something like this. I wonder if I just gave up on this. And that's why it just disappeared. Like I was having a hard time working it out. And I was just like, whatever, moving on. But I was pretty tired all weekend, you know. Throw some real pillars here. Some swampy pillars. Something like that. am I thinking? I legitimately don't have a way for the player to pull a lever on the other side of this without coming in one more tile. Because if I put it here, this corner is going to be in the way. If I move it, I mean, I guess I could move this trap situation one tile forward. And that would give me the room I need. It's just kind of messy. Painting over the glowing stuff is going to be kind of a pain in the rectum. Thinking of painting the hell to look like shale, a gloomier, darker, but depressing location. I'm familiar with the concept of shale. A lot of people are not. I'm very familiar with that concept. Okay, so if we put these traps one more forward, then we can create accessible lever locations. Binding of Isaac. Oh, that makes sense. So obviously, Binding of Isaac is informed by a lot of sort of like takes, some hot takes on religion, and Shale is sort of, you could think of it as the Jewish purgatory, although it existed long before the Catholic Church, and it literally just means a waiting place. It's where, and if somebody is Jewish in the chat and they know better than me, please don't feel shy to correct me. But it's I believe it just literally means a waiting place where, you know, people wait for their salvation, effectively. So it's not said to be a good or bad place. It's a place where you wait. Use music for it there. That's cool. Okay, so let's test this gate idea. I just realized this is going to give me even more trouble because I need... Okay, alright. I can push everything back again, and I'm going to put the levers on the front instead of the back. So we'll lose front space, not back space. And that's necessary because if I put the levers right next to the traps, then the levers will activate the traps, which is not acceptable. So... funny, like working with the real space, you know, the tile-based space is sometimes very fun and easy, but sometimes it can, like, the limitations of it require you to do some gymnastics to deal with it. So all that I need to do is like right here and here. Maybe I legit gave up on this because I realized that it was not possible. I mean, I could use a little scripting. Zinc94, what up? Ever thought about making an epic adventure type map where you go on a journey like Lord of the Rings? I mean, it wouldn't... It's not something we could put in the game, you know? Like, it would have to be a completely different expansion or something. I love ideas like that, and I have thought about stuff like that quite a bit. About, like, what would be the limitations of Barony? Like, how far how far could you go making something like that in the Barony editor? So I've definitely thought about that. But it would never be part of the base game because the whole format of the game depends on, you know, these procedurally generated levels. So the idea that like suddenly you'd show up somewhere and you'd be doing, you know, a big, grand world exploring adventure. It's like, wait a second, what game am I playing again? Yeah, as we've talked about, you know, what projects we do next, the idea of using Barony and all of its systems and existing tools, but with a different level format, is an idea that we have discussed. So, okay, so in theory, you could come in here. See nothing, but then you come up here on the end of the bridge and you'd see left and right there's arrow traps that want to shoot at you, and because of how tight a space this is, this may be why I gave up on this when I was working on it. There's no way for me to have these shoot at you unless they open the door as well. So theory, the way that you get through this is to allow them to shoot at you, and then that opens the door, which is a little corny. But I think it's the choice I have. You know what, let's just get it in playtesting. I need to stop hemming and hawing over it because it's just it's taken me forever, and it's not getting better, you know, like I just need to try it out and see how it feels. So what'll happen is that you pull this lever and open the gate. In theory, if you step on the trap, this will shoot at you, and then if you step off, the door will close behind you. But you could always reopen it by stepping on the trap again. I could also make it so that this is a perma-trap. No, I don't like that as much. Let's see how this plays. Like I said, I'm taking too long to think about this and not enough time acting on it. I'm pretty sure I did give up on the idea because of this conundrum, though. Let's go with 11D. Wait a second. 11D. Okay, I want to steal these bridges. This isn't good enough. I need a different bridge to steal from. Do mine 27D E. There we go. That's good enough. That's what we want. Sprite. It's facing east. It's negative 56. Okay, perfect. And then this one is facing west. It's otherwise the same. And then this one is a different mesh, and it's 1181. It can face east, and that's negative 1. And then we put on a little trap here just to make a creaky noise when you step on it with this 513, 175, dink. Perfect. Okay. This needs to be variant D. We're going to save it as Swamp 08 variant D. Okay. So the story of this room is that you'll enter from any direction. If you enter from the north or south, let's open up 8. Swamp 08. Crap. is not going to work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't get to the lever. You can't get to the lever. This idea is DOA. Just no rational way to open this. So, I mean, I could make these inverted gates so that they're open and then they close behind you. That's not very useful. And then there's no way to get through them if you come from this direction. I guess I could just make these regular doors. The monsters will come through here all the time, but at least we'll have executed on the idea. Okay, what I think I should be in the game is different ambience for each section. Different ambience. So when you're talking about ambience, you're talking about sounds. That would make sense. Sanctum ASMR, yeah. Okay. Alright. So I've gone through my struggles with this, and I came out the other side feeling like, you know, the idea is a little bit compromised, but not too much. In that there's no way I can make this like a gated thing, but that wasn't really central to the point of the idea anyway, so I'm not really too broken up about that. I really just wanted a bridge that when you got to the end, you would see that, you know, you have to cross in front of these traps, and then you got to cope with that before you can proceed. So, you know, what's funny about that ink is that would actually be very easy to add. Like, in the base swamp level, I could just put an ambient sound activator that's always on, and then just assign a long looping sound effect to it. And so all I'd really need is a sound effect. And then I could add it to every, and I think that'd be great. I think it would improve the ambiance of the game. Ambiance! So I got nothing against that idea. Contrary to what you may think, your ideas are not steaming piles of trash. Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where it's like a lot of ideas seem easy, but they still require programming. This is one that would not require programming. I can legitimately just do it myself, and that's always encouraging for me. When you can make a big impact on the game without needing additional programming. Okay. Alright. Finally, we're going to save this as D. It looks like a mess. We don't have doors. Let's put doors. Let's go ahead and put doors. Well, the Citadel sky was definitely intended to look like crackling, like, you know, I think it's a good, you know, it's got those streaks of color going through it. It's definitely supposed to look like these rifts, and I think thunder is a good inspiration for that. All right. even able to make a creaky bridge on the end of this. Alright, I think I'm going to make one more level for number 8 here. And then maybe I'll deal with the swamp level and then I'll call it a day. So we could do something a little sort of unusual. I kind of like unusual changes. You know what, let's get rid of that floor destruction because I have no reference point if I do that. So we need these 4 to be accounted for because those are next to other tiles. These ones need to be accounted for. The rest of them, in theory, we can start as a pit because they're surrounded otherwise. And so we could do something like make this whole thing a pit. And so you're actually going around the outside of it rather than through the middle, which I kind of like. So it's just definitely different. We could do another arrow trap situation if we wanted to. That one on right looks like one of the citadel moves. Oh, that's funny. Small quadrangle, several flames, one fountain, and 2 sinks. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's actually one of the citadel is currently the only tile set in the game that uses submaps liberally. And there's some in the caves, but the citadel is more. Has quite a bit more. Still not as many as I'm adding, though. So if we do it like this doesn't really have like a strategy to it. It would be mostly aesthetic. Which there's nothing wrong with aesthetic, but I like things that are purposeful. So I would probably resist that. Overloading you with your rumbling bladder. No, don't sweat it, dude. When I need a break from chat, I just take a break from chat. You can trust me to manage my own overload. Maybe I could do like a waterfall. That might be fun. So like something like that. I like the idea of it, but it would, unless I take it all the way to the ceiling, it's not going to really make any sense. And that it'll just be a wall of water at that point. So I'm not super convinced about that. Although I could put it on the, I could just have it like this. That looks decent. So a little hot tub here. We could put some torches on the end. So just sort of like a pretty little spot. who knows where the water's coming from, like that's fine. The other thing I could do is I could add some more tiles to the game to create wall fountains. Like in Hell, we have wall fountains of lava. Hot tub, not for your deceit. Don't kill me, please. I kind of like this. This is a totally different feeling space. It doesn't change the gameplay much, but it's gonna feel a lot different. And if you do end up in a fight in here, it'll change the gameplay a lot. All right, so variant E, okay, file save. Let's go to variant D. Okay, this is our excessive bridge situation. C, we've got our hidey hole, human hidey hole room. And then B is the one with a closed off fountain in one section, and then a monster hovel in the other. Okay, 9. Looks unique, that's for certain. Yo, hot tub giveaways! What's up, y'all? Welcome back. If indeed you ever left. Okay, so we did what I said I would do, which is I finished number 8. You had cereal, holy smokes. The only hot tub you're getting is one with lava. I should stop. I can tell when you're baiting me into saying an Orpheus line, and I should be able to tell by now. Don't worry, I think it's funny. Okay, I'm excited to play through these. Unfortunately, we're only done all the way up to Swamp 11, and there's over 30. So I feel like we're going slow. But it's a lot of levels. I'd have a lava tub. That's even cooler. I brought in my... I always do, Ink. I always do. Okay, so we're going to Swamp 00. Just kidding, we're going to Swamp? We're going to Swamp. We can close this bad boy. Yep, okay, we got through 11. And I'm gonna... It's a lot of sprites, but like whatever. Like I don't have to delete these, I could just ignore them, but Another person followed me, thank you. I don't really keep track of my followers, mostly because I'm not making any money off of this, and I'm more doing this just to connect with the community. Like if one day game developer streams blow up and I get subs, then that's cool. But, you don't have to stop anything. Didn't want to make Sheridan give you tongue lashing. You know, Sheridan doesn't give me tongue lashings. Like we have disagreements, but we're business partners. You know, we treat each other like equals, which is how it should be. Like, this definitely was his creation. I joined him on this mission. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff that we need each other for. So, that's just how it be. Put all my money to game development, viewer stocks. Good idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that. This is so excessive, deleting all these on stream. You know what would be faster? I'm not even kidding. It would be faster to do a new map of the same size and just copy and paste the contents. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. That's gonna take way too long. Ink, you misunderstand. I am an invested equal owner in Turning Wheel. So the worst thing that's going to happen is we break up the company because we don't want to work with each other anymore. But I don't see that happening. All right. We have the swamp. We're gonna call this 40 by 40. Great, perfect. Create. All right. Now what we're gonna do is select this. We're gonna copy it. We're gonna paste it. Actually, that's not gonna work, is it? Darn it. Here, let's save a new map called placeholder. That's how the Play-Doh cookie crumbles. Okay, we're saving this map as placeholder, and we're going to close this. Yes. Alright, now, because I can't copy to paste between instances, we're going to go to placeholder. Boom. We're saving placeholder. We're gonna open swamp again. And we're gonna go to the floor. We're gonna select it. Control C. We're gonna open placeholder again. Save it. We're gonna go to swamp again. Select all this. We're going to open placeholder. Paste. Okay. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to save this as swamp. Actually, let's make sure the map settings are right first. Double check that. They are. So we're just going to save this as swamp. Maps. Alright. That was the fastest way we could delete those. If I asked you to voice someone who is an Orpheus or Barony related, would you agree? Or did we discuss? I mean, I'm always interested in propositions of that kind, I guess. As much as I like voice acting, though, I have strong doubts that I can play certain characters types effectively. And I think that like the fact that I've had to like modify my voice for Orpheus is sort of an example of that. I do like shrill, obnoxious characters with natural voice changes much better than I do sort of deep, tough characters because I just don't have the voice for deep, tough sounding characters. Okay, let's set a rule that we... I don't know, maybe we don't need a rule. Let's do like... Let's just start making pools. Memory moment. I'm curious now. Am I either tripping or when you sit at a certain angle, the board behind you makes you look like you're wearing a single fake cat ear. That's pretty funny. I like that. I like that cause of trippage. Okay, let's... So what I'm doing here is I'm going to add a little variety to the bodies of water in the swamp so that it isn't just everywhere all the time like it was. Not only is that obnoxious for monster races, it also means that enemies can't path well, and the kinds of levels that feel fun are really limited because they're no longer like water is no longer kind of a novel level design element if it's so ubiquitous, and I don't like that. So we're gonna fix that here. Am I drawing a smiley face in the water? I wish. What a cool life I would have if I was drawing smiley faces instead of random aqua shapes. You should make a smiley face as the pattern in the water. I mean, I could totally get away with that because it's very unlikely that that would ever show up in the game. Because literally the way that it works is that all of the walls and floors and ceilings get overwritten with whatever levels get pulled in, and so if there's a smiley face, it would 99.95% of the time it would just get overwritten by something else. how exciting this island is. So even though these shapes I'm making may seem very specific, they're always going to be disrupted by levels. And sometimes, you know, the water in the levels might lead from one to the next, and most of the time they won't. And so what this will mean is that it will create much more circumstances where the player will be able to walk from one spot to the next, and therefore also so will the monster. And that will mean water has become an interesting element of the swamps again, rather than a ubiquitous element of the swamps again. Looks like I drew a leash. I mean, it does kind of look like that. I'm kind of just doing random shapes that, you know, water can take because, you know, because I have a feeling that will result in the most positive gameplay areas that make the most sense. Let's make a little square of land here. I'm not saying what it looks like to me. Sneak will make me suffer. Okay. Captain Bad 10. Looks like there's a snake towards the top. The island is his eye. What's up, Captain Bad? Did you know that I'm the world record speedrun holder for a game called Captain Beeble? It's true. So when I saw Captain Bad showed up, I had to announce that. Me and Captain Bad have a lot in common. A love for captains and then things that start with the letter B. Okay, so there are definitely potentials to create for islands to appear in the swamps in this new sort of paradigm I'm making here. Captain Beeble, the ultimate evil. That's a good rhyme. For real dope, speedrunning seems cool, but ironically, I've never had the time for it. Captain Bad was a mod or something because of the crown. Oh yeah, what's going on with that? Oh, they're a Prime Gaming subscriber. That's funny. I have a crown. Yeah, Mod has a sword. I forget that sometimes. You had me fooled for a second there, Yilf. You spend money poorly? I'm sorry to hear that. You know, I was raised pretty stinking poor, and I know that that can go a few ways for people. Like, because, you know, some people when they're raised poor, what happens is that when they finally get money, they're just desperate to use it, and so they don't spend it wisely because they're just like, finally they have the luxury of having money to spend. But for me, the opposite happened, where it's just like, I may never have money again. I must be very careful with how I spend it all the time. And so that's kind of how I live. Which is a good thing, because ever since I went full-time at Turning Wheel, my budget's been pretty dang tight. I'm not fishing for any pity or anything. It's just being a full-time indie dev is not as lucrative as being a director of game design at a big company that is well funded, which is what I was doing before I started working full time for Turning Wheel. And that's fine. I did it because I knew this would make me happier, and so far that's been the case. So far, I'm just kidding. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to want to do this for as long as I can. I always dreamed about retiring, and what I dreamed I would do when I retire is working in Turning Wheel. Okay. Go get a job at Blizzard. No thanks. Okay, so we've made islands. Now the swamps have islands. You know, when I first joined the team, one of the first things I did is fill the swamps with water. And before, it was all grass and dirt. And now, and then suddenly it was all water. And so now I think this compromise is probably the right choice. I would love to openly agree with your guys' comments, and I just haven't. Let's just say I refrain from commenting on things like that because I don't have personal experience with them. Okay, so there are a few spots here that are islands. One of them's in the middle, which I think makes sense. Let's just roll with this. I think this is a much more dynamic swamp map. Hopefully it'll result in more interesting gameplay. I think remind you of the Olympics. Yeah, I've seen some funny art put together by like Olympic commissions that look kind of silly. You know, it might be better for me to make less organic shapes, because when you're down here on the ground, this is kind of obnoxious stuff to navigate. Like if I did more squares. I'm gonna save this and sort of show what I mean. So if I do this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this. That might be a better gameplay experience than having all these weird twists and turns, because the tiles of Barony are not made to be organically navigated. They just look weird when you do it that way in game. It's awkward to navigate diagonals because they're stair steps. They're not diagonals. So let's see what this looks like. Yeah, actually, I'll talk about that all day. The fact that Blizzard sort of bends the knee to the CCP really annoys me. It's just like a really quick way to tell me that you care more about money than principles when you're banning players because they support the protesters in Hong Kong. You know what I mean? $7.5 billion just for bans. I'll take that. See, like, this definitely looks more nonsensical, but I think this makes more sense in the context of Barony level design. These sort of very square shapes. You know, the levels in Barony get replaced with as rectangles. I'll navigate. Before I save this, I'll go and navigate it in first person, but I have a strong feeling I'm going to prefer this, how this feels. play Overwatch, but stuck with TF2. I really like TF2 still. I think it's still a great game. Okay, we replaced all of our organic shapes with square ones. And let's take a look at the impact of that. Let's make a few, now that it's straight shapes, let's make some connections, some land bridges that might have felt forced before, but now they make perfect sense. Yeah, I mean, this is... I don't like the one tile wide ones very much. I mean, I could replace them with watery bricks like this. Like this. That'll add a little textural variety. Do we like that? Replaced all the one wides with stone bridges effectively. And again, we're not going to see this almost ever, so it's kind of moot. Before I get too far, makes me uncomfortable. I don't even know what you're talking about. You're certainly not making me uncomfortable because I have no idea what's happening. Oh, what's up, Doctor? I didn't know you were watching. TF2 wins your heart. It's that medic, ain't it? Ain't it, Doctor? What is my opinion on Northwood Studios? I don't think I know about Northwood Studios. Let's see. Multiplayer horror game Secret Laboratory. I don't know anything about these guys, but their game looks like pretty cool, pretty advanced, especially for a small indie studio that I've never heard of. Okay, I think I'm satisfied with this revision of the Swamps map. Okay, yeah, pretty dang happy with it. So let's save where we're at. I think it's definitely better than the organic shapes I had before. I mean, they looked cooler from the top down, but that's not how the player experiences it. So it really doesn't matter how cool it looks from the top down. What matters is how it plays. So what this will result in is there's actually only like, what, 2 spots that might ever be non-walkable. I might find that this is too little water now, but we're going to find out. I am going to take a real quick break. You know, it's about the end of my workday here, but I might have some time to do a playtest, so I'm going to go check in and see if that's the case. And if it is, then I will be right back. Either way, I'm going to be right back, and I'll tell you if I'm going to stick around. So anyway, thanks so much for watching me do level design today. I'm glad we got through, what, Swamp 11 or 12? Yeah, just Swamp 11. A little over a third of the way done, guys. Yo, what's up, Command Ops? All right, cheers, Ink. It's good hanging with you. All right, I'll see y'all in just a few minutes.